G'day everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at some scope rings. Scope rings that I use quite extensively, almost exclusively actually. They are the Vortex Pro Series rifle scope ring. Made by Vortex, obviously, and made in the USA, so they're good quality. Now, scope rings, you can't squib on them. This is the big mistake a lot of people make. They'll buy a lovely rifle, they'll buy a lovely scope, and they'll put shitty scope rings on it. It's something you cannot squib on. It's basically the bridge between your rifle and your optic. You can have the greatest optic in the world, but if you haven't got a set of rings that are going to hang onto it properly and keep everything straight, you got nothing. Okay, so you can't squib on scope rings. I can't be much clearer than that. So these ones, they come in a 1-inch tube, and they come in to suit a 30mm tube. Don't know if they come in 34mm tubes, but that's not an issue to me. I don't use 34mm tube scopes. Okay, so these are the 1-inch mediums. They come in, both the 1-inch and 30mm come in low, medium and high. These are, as I said, are 1-inch mediums. They weigh 93 grams, which is absolutely nothing in the scheme of things. Won't attach any noticeable weight to your rifle, and they won't alter the balance of it in any way. So that's a good thing. These things cost me $129, and I think from memory the 30mm that I got were $139, so a bit dear for 30mm tubes, 30mm rings, obviously. So these things come with Torx head screws. They're a TX25 screw, and you've got 4 screws hold the ring cap on, 2 screws hold the base, and you get a couple of spare bits and bobs, a good set of instructions. So we'll get into that. We'll get that when we have a more in-depth look at it. These ones suit Picatinny rails or Weaver rails, or the Weaver type single bases, whatever. They're sort of pretty much, general purpose across the board. So very good value scope ring. Let's have a really good look at it. Let's get into it. Right, the Vortex Pro Series rifle scope rings, made in the USA, so going to be good. Now I got these from the open range in James Street, Toowoomba. They've got a good supply of these. As I said, they come in the in 30mm as well. These cost me the 1-inch mediums. Cost me $129, as you see there. And a set of 30mm I got from memory cost me $139, so a little bit dear for 30mm rings, but I tell you, that's for a ring of this quality, that's not bad buying. It's one thing you really can't squimp on is scope rings. I mean, you don't want your rings letting your scope go, when you're out hunting or whatever. So we'll pull these out of the box. We'll have a look at them. Okay, we've got the rings. Now they come with a little Allen wrench, like that, and 2 extra screws. You don't get that with any of the other ones, in case you lose one or break one. Highly unlikely you'll break these. You really have to put some effort in it to break them. Good little set of instructions, and it shows you how to torque everything down, how to fit everything. Very, very easy to follow. And on these, just as a backup, on the top rings, can we see that one there? On the top rings, there's your torque specs, 18-inch pounds. And on the bases, 30-inch pounds. So that you really can't go wrong. You got it there and there, you really can't go wrong. So I'll pull these apart. Okay, and we're back, and I've got these things apart. I didn't make you all endure me pulling screws apart. So top cap, ring base. Now, get your little notch in there that fits in your gap in your pick rail or your Weaver type mount, whatever. And you put in there, click him in. You got the claw on this side, and this is the claw bit that comes off. This is where your little screws go in, and you've got, as you can see there, it's got a little end and a big end. The big end goes in under the rail, in there like that, and in the screw goes. Okay. Now, as with all these rings, little dob of the blue Loctite on the screws, and you screw them down, particularly if you're on the bigger guns. Can't hurt. It just won't let the things come undone, because that's the last thing you want, just a real simple gear failure when you're out doing your thing. So that's basically our rings. One thing it does say in here, and it's very important, keep these rings as pairs. Keep these rings as pairs, as they're paired up in the box. It states that in the instructions, and always keep them as pairs. And when you keep them as pairs, if you change them from different rifles or whatever, or move them on, whatever, keep them as pairs. keep them as fronts and rears, like or whatever, but make sure they stay in the pairs that they're in. Now the good thing about these little screws, before we go, they're really chunky screws. Can you see that? That's a really chunky screw. A T25, Torx TX25 head on it. You're not going to strip that. You're not going to break that screw. A lot of these scopes and mounts have got these really small, fiddly little screws, and you put a small amount of pressure on them, you strip the heads out, you break them, they break off in things, and it's just a nightmare to get them out. These things are as chunky as, and the good thing about it, you took your 4 screws for your cap, and your 2 screws for your base and your spares, they're all the same length. So you haven't got a screw for this, a screw for that, a screw for this, all the same length. So you can mix them up, it doesn't matter. So there we go. Right, and I'll wrap this one up, and that's our review of the Vortex Pro Series scope rings. Really good bit of kit this. Can't recommend them enough. I've got heaps of these, and all the little spare bits and bibs and bobs that you get. I've got a bag full of them in there, so you won't be disappointed. You really won't be disappointed if you put these round your scope. Good hunting ring. If you're shooting precision rifle, etc., maybe not, but you're buying $120 scope rings if you're doing that. So, as I said, open range in James Street, Toowoomba. That's the shop you get these from. Pretty good. They'll do mail order. They're a good bunch of guys. Give them a call, and these will suit most 1-inch scopes with anything pretty much up to a 50mm objective, whether they're on a pair of Weaver on a Weaver rail or pick rail, or just a little normal Weaver mounts, whatever. You've pretty much got enough clearance with these for a 50mm objective. So, and there we go. And if you can't get enough clearance with if you've got a big objective, a big adjustable objective, etc., you can just go to the high rings, and that's fine. So there we go. That's me look at the Vortex Pro Series scope rings. A little bit of kit, go and get yourself some. So until next time, you can tell your wife, you can tell your girlfriend. You can tell them both, for all I care. Could be fun for everybody. Either way, just go 2 clicks up. Ta-da!